All right, so what this is you have some type of function. And this function right here, even though it's not as obvious, is a piecewise function. It's got this function, this part here that's all one piece, and then it's got a horizontal piece here. So this is referred to as a piecewise function. Okay, so increasing, you have to think of where is the graph going up and to the right. Okay, it's almost like a positive slope, up and to the right. Well, the part where it's going up and to the right is right in there. That's the only place. All right, so I'm going to highlight mine to color code this. It is going up and to the right, right there. So that's increasing. All right, now it's intervals. So what we're going to do is we're always going to have curvy brackets. We're always going to use x values, the x coordinates. So I'm going to look at my graph and then say, okay, at what x value does that increasing section start at? Well, it starts at the x value of -4, and then it goes all the way to the x value of 0. So we look at our x values. So increasing intervals would be from -4 to 0 with a set of brackets around it. Now, I know that looks like an ordered pair, all right, but the fact that the question is asking for intervals, it's not an ordered pair. It's saying the section of the graph that starts at x equals -4 and goes all the way up to x equals 0. Okay? All right, good so far. Now, decreasing. All right, well, where is the graph going down and to the right? You can also think of that as a negative slope, but down and to the right. Well, it's going down and to the right here. And then over here, it is also going down and to the right. Okay, so to color code it a little bit, down and to the right. And it's in two separate sections. They are not together. All right, so we're going to use that union symbol that we have used before with our intervals. All right, we're going to list the first one, and then we'll list the second one and put the U in between it. All right, now they're x values. All right, now this part of the graph, it is going up, right? But it's at an angle as well. So not only is it going up, but it's also going to the left because it's going at an angle. So while it is going up, it's going really far to the left. Well, what number is out here, far into that number line, is -infinity. So from the x value of -infinity, forever and ever and ever, all the way up to the x value of -4, it's decreasing. So my first group here is going to be parentheses, -infinity to -4. That represents this portion of the graph right here. All right, I'm skipping over the pink part, so there's my U. And then I look at the next yellow section. Okay, well, what x value does this start at? Well, you come up, look at the point, the x value is 0. So it starts at an x value of 0 and goes to an x value of 5, because that 4, 0 is that point right there. This 5, -1 is right here. So from 0 to 5 is the other decreasing portion. So 0 to 5. So there were two sections up here. So that meant I had two portions in my interval notation down here separated by a U. All right, does that make sense? Okay, so I thought this increasing, decreasing thing was going to be a relatively simple concept. Okay, now constant, all right, let's kind of put in parentheses horizontal, all right, just as something to help us remember. All right, when I'm looking for constant intervals, I'm looking for horizontal intervals. All right, there is an interval right here. All right, that is horizontal. So it's constant. It's not going up, it's not going down. It's not increasing, it's not decreasing, it's constant. All right, so again, we're going to use interval notations with curly brackets. So you're going to ask yourself, okay, what x value does that horizontal part start at? Well, it starts at the x value of 5, and then it goes forever and ever and ever and ever to the right. Well, what number is all the way to the far right on the number line? Positive infinity. So I'm going to start at that -5. It's not -5. I'm sorry. It's going to be a +5. So we're going to start at that +5 and then go all the way to infinity. All right, +5 all the way to infinity. And then that's it. That's the new part, the part that you don't know. All right, so is it simple enough, or do we need to do another example? I thought that was pretty simple, so we'd probably be pretty good. All right, now I'm hoping domain and range and x and y intercepts are reviews. All right, let's jump down and do these because these are really fast. And then I want to show you about what I'm talking about, how it's going to look like the same answer. What? The x-intercept is what? The point at which the graph crosses the x-axis, right? Well, it crosses the x-axis right there. And you're going to write the ordered pair for 0. Okay, but look at these two answers. They look like they are the same thing, but they are not. This is representing an interval, and we're pulling x-axis off. And this is a point, because the x-intercept is the point at which it crosses. But when you write it or you type it in MathXL, it's going to look like it's the same thing. Okay, just make sure. And then when you're reading directions, when you see something like this, they will probably put the interval on 4 to 0, or the interval from 2 to 3. So you'll know it's an interval, not an ordered pair, if it's in a set of directions. All right, now the point at which the graph crosses the y-axis, 0, 5. And again, that looks like an interval, but in this case, these are points, not interval. They are the points at which the graph crosses. All right, now domain. Domain is left to right across the graph, right? This one is an easy one for domain, because if I can take my pencil and I can draw the entire function and not lift my pencil at all, then it's every number left to right across the number line, so negative infinity to a positive infinity. That's the easiest way to think of your domain. If you can draw the entire thing and never lift your pencil, then it's negative infinity to positive infinity for domain, left to right. Okay. Sometimes there might be gaps. You might have some domains that look like this from the other day when we did domains, but this one turned out to be pretty simple. All right, now range is y-axis, right? So you have to think down here and go up. All right, so down here, there's no range whatsoever. My range starts, the first place I have a y value is at -1. The graph then goes up to here, comes back down, but it's encompassing all the y values from -1 all the way up to 5, then it comes back down. But what does this portion do? This portion goes on forever and ever and ever and ever, up. All right, so again, what number is at the top of the number line? Negative infinity. So every number from -1 all the way to positive infinity is accounted for, because that portion goes up forever and ever and ever. -1 is part of the range, so square bracket, -1, and then all the way up to positive infinity.